You may know this from some of my videos on inconspicuous and conspicuous, but zombies can only spot you from around 20 tiles away. This doesn't mean running farther than 20 tiles away makes them lose sight of you though. Instead, you need to run much farther away from a zombie that has already spotted you. So far, that is not a viable way to lose the growing horde behind you. The answer to this is to block their line of sight. However, you may have noticed if you cut a corner around a house, the zombies sometimes attack the doors and windows of that house. The sounds of them breaking in draws in even more zombies. We would like to avoid that. Also, it keeps the neighborhood appearance nice when every house doesn't have broken windows. How does the zombie sight mechanic work? I'm sure many of you have run into a forest and broken line of sight only to turn around and realize every single zombie is still following you. Well, the zombies kinda cheat. When you do break their line of sight, they continue to track you for several seconds. It's only once that time has passed that the pathfinding sets the last known position and generates the fastest path to it. Note that it will pass through doors and windows even though breaking through them clearly takes longer than walking around. I'll call these two separate modes of tracking direct tracking and indirect tracking. The secret is, when possible, to pause your movement right next to whatever you are using to break line of sight. If it's the corner of a building, then you need to walk behind and stay there for a couple seconds. This way all the zombies stop tracking you and pathfind to the corner. Then you can make your escape. Beware, the zombies are alerted and tracking you. You still have to avoid being spotted. Windows can't allow a zombie to see you through a house. Since the zombies have a wall hack to track us, is there any way we can exploit their pathfinding? Yes, because they switch to a pre-planned path. Once there is an object between you and them, you can jump a fence, wait around a bit, and then run out of sight. Since the zombie still has to cross the fence in order to get to you, the zombie will follow its path and then search for you once it finishes. This isn't a cure-all way to escape from a zombie, but rather a way to delay the zombie by causing it to walk in the wrong direction and trigger another spotting check. If you get far enough away, it'll lose you completely. From the previous videos on site, we know that 21 tiles should be far enough away to escape, but this is not the case here. The zombie is still alerted and will spot you from much farther away. The pathfinding is still tracking you, and as you get farther and farther away, it will switch back to direct tracking if possible. If you imagine it the same as properly blocking line of sight, even though it switches to indirect pathfinding, the zombie can still see you. Only once you escape a spotting check will you have truly lost the zombie. Solid objects like cars and fences are the best way to do this. You'll immediately know it is working because the zombie will not track your movement anymore as you flee. In the case of using a car, you need to keep the car between you and the zombie for as long as possible. It can recalculate and switch to a direct tracking path once the car is no longer in the way. If you trigger the indirect pathfinding, something as small as a bush will be able to block the line of sight and cause the zombie to lose you. How about the forest example from before? It works, but because trees are not solid objects, the zombie stays in its direct tracking mode. This makes it much harder to escape, as any glimpse of you will result in the zombie instantly tracking you and reset the need to break line of sight for a few seconds again. This means that you should almost always run in a straight line through a tree and away from the zombie. Hopefully you can line two trees up, as running out of sight range with a single tree is highly unlikely. To recap, if you want to lose following zombies, you need to break their line of sight or force them into the indirect pathfinding mode. Either way you choose to do it, they will continue to track you for several seconds, so it's best to wait that out before moving on to your proper escape path that continues to break line of sight. Cars and fences are the easiest way to do this while out in the open, as you can look back at the zombie and confirm it is no longer directly following you. Even though the zombie should be able to see you, they will follow their planned path until some sort of check triggers a pathfinding refresh. Trees can be used, but you'll have to follow your gut feeling and make sure you can stay out of sight as they stay in their more aggressive, direct tracking mode.